important topic to the platform that it deserved. We know that it was a huge movement in America. On Thursday, October the 5th, 2017, the expose of systematic sexual harassment and assaulting of women in Hollywood created an outpour of stories, and inspired by activist Tanya Burke, individuals started partaking in #MeToo on Twitter and other social media platforms. But how did it grow from there? Unlike prior feminist movements such as street protests, social media is able to reach a global audience within minutes and start a huge conversation. Whilst past movements were able to lay the foundations for the Me Too movement to thrive on, they were never able to reach as large of an audience and connect countries all over the world for trying to solve the same issue. The beginning of the Me Too movement in China is said to have come from student Liu Ixi, who made sexual harassment allegations against her former professor on a site called Sina Weibo, which is a Twitter-like Chinese social media site. Her posts initiated other former students to come forward with allegations against their former professors. With the rise of the Me Too movement in China, people started posting on social media with the #MeTooInChina. The hashtag was swiftly blocked along with other keywords related to the movement by authorities. China is known to have the world's most extensive and sophisticated censorship apparatus, and in the recent years, the level of censorship and internet surveillance has skyrocketed to unprecedented extremes. This censorship was a huge step back for the women in China and made it much harder to spread the awareness and messages surrounding the movement. Individuals included in the movement were able to retaliate against the censorship with coded language, image modification, playful puns, and blockchain technologies. The movement also changed their name so that they could continue to spread important messages. The name was changed to Rice Bunny, which is derived from the Chinese words for rice and rabbit, which is pronounced Me Too. Sang Lini, a feminist activist, commented on this censorship saying, "Censorship? Of course, but so what? By now we all know that's inevitable for any social movement in China. For us, censorship is part of the process, not the end of the story. The Chinese #MeToo movement is not only against sexual harassment, it's also about fighting against this pressure, fighting against censorship." To continue battling this censorship, feminists of the movement have been urged to take screenshots of posts they see and reposting them for more people to see. As censorship can happen so quickly and so often, reposting stories is the main way to keep the conversation going. The #MeToo movement is undoubtedly one of the most impactful social movements in China. It gave feminist agendas unprecedented visibility, and it empowered Chinese women on a massive scale. Nevertheless, the public discussions that #MeToo initiated was described as a sudden awakening, but #MeToo did not come out of nowhere, and it was not a simple extension or imitation of the US-born movement. The #MeToo created extensive social mobilization with students, university teachers, factory workers, lawyers, and others launching petitions and issuing statements of support. Despite the censorship and the gaps in conversation, the outbursts of #MeToo stories and activism have had a significant impact on society. The Department of Education pledged to introduce a long-term anti-sexual harassment mechanism on campus, and the Supreme People's Court added sexual harassment damage liability dispute as a civil cause of action effective January 2019. This movement has raised awareness about Chinese women and the systematic issues they face. It has also given them necessary knowledge to understand when they are being sexually harassed. They are now able to recover themselves by reconstructing their identities at the individual level and connect with others by supporting other victims who have had similar experiences through social media. It is important to understand the positive impacts that the Me Too movement in China had, but we must also consider how much it struggled because of the amount of censorship and the heavy effect that it had on the movement.